Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers across the globe celebrate the foundation's 49th anniversary. We join volunteers in the Philippines as they hold a large-scale Buddha Day ceremony in Marikina City. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. This May 12th marked the 49th anniversary of the Tzu Chi Foundation. All around the world, Tzu Chi volunteers marked the occasion by making a pilgrimage to further discipline themselves. We now take you across the events in Southeast Asia. To celebrate the 49th anniversary of Tzu Chi Foundation, over 850 people have come to make a pilgrimage at the Kuala Lumpur Jingsi Hall. The road of self-cultivation is long. We must be patient and cultivate blessings and wisdom with our hearts. Hailing from Pulau Ketam, it took Jen Rongzhou 2 hours to get here.
Though I'm drenched in sweat, I'm not tired, but full of Dharma joy. I want to give the Master my blessings.
In neighboring Singapore, over 100 people are also making a similar pilgrimage.
To pass down the Master's teaching and promote Tzu Chi's way, we need to devote ourselves completely. We shall lead the Singapore chapter in joining the mainstream, so that more people will join the Tzu Chi path.
Ma Qinghua and his wife have been ferrying participants to the venue since 4 in the morning.
Before, we always wanted a bigger car, a bigger house. But now, I have learned to be content with what I have. We're so much better off compared to other people.
The same ceremony is also found in Taiwan, as volunteers in Luodong, Yilan make their own pilgrimage.
With devotion, we make this pilgrimage and hope to channel our blessings to help those suffering in Nepal. May the world be free of disasters.
We may not be able to do much for them, so I thought that perhaps through praying, we can help soothe their souls. At Taipei's Shenshan district, volunteers honor the occasion by praying in the local Tzu Chi office. I actually don't feel well today, but after making the pilgrimage and through kneeling and praying, I have found strength again, which helped me forget my discomfort. On the offshore island of Penghu, volunteers mark the occasion by bringing the Buddha Day ceremony to the doorsteps of the elderly in their Dharma family. No matter how the day is celebrated around the world, Tzu Chi volunteers are ever more devoted to their missions as a result. In addition to providing disaster relief in Bhaktapur City, Nepal, the Tzu Chi Disaster Relief and Medical Team is also planning to offer aid in other hard-hit areas and has traveled to Sindhupalchok district to assess the damage in Melamchi town. To assess quake-related damage in other hard-hit disaster areas, Tzu Chi volunteers travel from Kathmandu to Sindhupalchok district's capital, Chatara. Along the way are collapsed houses and broken roads, as 90% of the houses in Chatara have been destroyed, and many cars are still buried in rubble.
Dr. Chen, he's the Deputy Superintendent of our Taipei.
As many international aid organizations are offering assistance here, the local government hopes Tzu Chi volunteers can assess the needs of Melamchi.
So what is the name of the district? Okay.
Sindhupalchok.
Sindhupalchok, okay.
Capital is Chatara.
Yes.
And we are going to move to Melamchi because it's close to Kathmandu.
Okay.
After a bumpy ride on the rough roads, the volunteers finally arrived in Melamchi.
This is Melamchi, about an hour's drive away from Kathmandu, on steep mountain roads. This is a flat valley region, and 98% of the houses have been damaged. To reconstruct houses on the flat ground, building prefab houses would be easier. 50 schools have been damaged, so rebuilding schools is also important. About 12,000 students will need classrooms to resume their classes, so we are considering this.
While schools need to be rebuilt in Melamchi, medical assistance is also needed here.
Medical teams from Japan and the Czech Republic are here, but they will leave soon. We are assessing the possibility of continuing their work And if it is feasible to do so, we will set up a medical service station here to provide a free clinic.
The volunteers also look for a suitable site to build prefab houses.
We can't build a DaAi village near the river as the water will rise, so we want to find a site on higher ground. This is a hard-hit region, and 99.9% of the houses have been destroyed. There might be aftershocks, and we need to stay safe, so we might still stay in Kathmandu.
Moved by Tzu Chi volunteers' efforts, the local military is willing to provide camps for the medical team members to rest, as well as offering other assistance.
Tzu Chi has been holding large-scale distributions in Nepal for quake survivors in the past few days. On May 12th, volunteers held another aid distribution, this time in front of Bhaktapur's City Hall, where over 2,000 disaster survivors came to receive their relief supplies. Early in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteers, the Nepalite government, military, and local residents worked together to decorate the aid distribution venue. As Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team banner is erected, the distribution site is slowly coming together. 6 trucks arrive at the site, one holding cooking oil and beans, the rest filled with rice.
The Tzu Chi relief packs containing towels, toothpaste, and other daily necessities are first assembled in Bhaktapur City Hall's basement, then relayed to the distribution site by local residents. Beside the crumbled brick wall, the aid distribution starts. Soaked in sweat, local residents help one another.
I'm very happy that someone has come to help us. In the future, when I get a job and have recovered from this, I want to help the less fortunate too.
Having traveled thousands of miles, Tzu Chi volunteers hope their love and care will shine brightly against the anguish the survivors have felt since the quake.
Hugging is natural. Everyone here is rejoicing once more. The greeting Namaste is often heard throughout the distribution site.
Namaste. Namaste.
For these quake survivors, hearing Namaste brings about a sense of stability in such uncertain times. Meanwhile, during the distribution, recipients wait patiently for their turn, while volunteers check and double-check their identity. Discovering that Rina and her son walked over 20 minutes to the distribution site, Tu Bingshu took it upon himself to help the mother and son pair carry the heavy rice home.
For the survivors, our little gestures might be a big help. For us, it's not a big deal to do these things, but these small efforts are much appreciated by them. Rina's house was destroyed in the April 25th earthquake, so currently her family of 6 is staying at her mother's. The aid she's received from Tzu Chi will last the entire family an entire month.
Thank you, Tzu Chi.
With aid supplies and emotional support from Tzu Chi, residents in Nepal are well on their way to recovering from the devastation caused by the quake. On May 10th, Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide hosted the tri-celebration of Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Tzu Chi Day in their respective countries. In the Philippines, the event took place at the Marikina Sports Park. It was attended by close to 15,000 people, including government officials from Marikina, San Mateo, and Ormoc.
This is a promise between residents of Marikina and Tzu Chi volunteers, together here on the second Sunday of May each year.
Happy Tzu Chi Day, Happy Buddha Day, Happy Mother's Day. Welcome to Marikina City.
The mayor of Marikina City made a personal appearance at the event and was joined by his counterparts from Ormoc, San Mateo, and Cavite, along with community residents whose affinity with Tzu Chi was formed in the wake of disasters. Now that they're able to stand on their own 2 feet again, they want to express their gratitude to Tzu Chi through action. Moving in unison, close to 10,000 people aligned themselves to form a beautiful formation of the words Tzu Chi Philippines 2015. Here, there was no distinction between race and religion, as participants came together and sincerely prayed to the Buddha.
The Buddha taught us to cherish our land, be empathetic to all sentient beings, and especially to help those people in need.
Dharma masters who were invited to the event once again commended Tzu Chi for putting the beliefs and values of Buddhism into practice.
It's not only the Chinese who are attending this Buddha Day ceremony, but Filipinos as well. I think you Tzu Chi volunteers are doing a great job bringing Buddhism to the Philippines.
A Catholic priest also expressed his pleasure in attending the event.
Joining this group
I'm very glad to be a part of this occasion. Tzu Chi helped the people in my parish and turn their lives around. Now their lives are more fulfilling and filled with hope.
As night falls, the whole stadium was filled with a sea of light.
Philippines 2015, Tzu Chi.
Happy Mother's Day, Ma'am. Thank you sa lahat. You are the best son in the whole world. I love you. Happy Mother.
Celebrating Mother's Day here at the Marikina Sports Park, everyone is determined to express their love out loud. Tzu Chi volunteers organized a Thanksgiving ceremony for children to wash their mother's feet to show gratitude and appreciation.
I am very happy because I got to wash my mother's feet.
Mayors of Marikina and San Mateo took the lead to serve the elderly.
The simple act of washing the feet of a Marikina resident is to show my affection for them. This is a very symbolic event. It is only fitting that I, as the head of my town, serve and cherish the parents of our town. We are blessed to be able to do this.
Ormoc City's First Lady was deeply moved when her son knelt before her and washed her feet.
I am very happy that my only son is willing to do this. I am so glad to be a part of this event.
Jose Fabian Cadiz, Deputy Mayor of Marikina City, also knelt down before all the participants to wash his 87-year-old mother's feet.
I would like to take the opportunity to express my love to you, Mom. I'm also deeply thankful to Master Zeng Yan for letting us witness the kinship and love between our people, especially towards our mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
On this especially meaningful day, these simple gestures mean more than words can say.
In Zhonghe, New Taipei City, 85-year-old Ya'ng秀-lan was a Tzu Chi care recipient 20 years ago, but she developed dementia in her old age. Her daughter began caring for her when she was abandoned by her son 5 years ago. Next, we see how Tzu Chi has provided the family with emotional support throughout the years.
Grandma Gong, with limited mobility, is surrounded by her family in celebration of Mother's Day. Grandma Gong, a dementia patient, cannot comprehend the lyrics, but she can feel the volunteers' love.
慈济你知道，慈济你认得，我们都是慈济，对不对？嗯，对。我们认识几年了？好多年了。20年了。祝福你健康平安。好，谢谢。
Grandma Gong was overjoyed as her daughter fed her cake, but it was not easy for the daughter to accept her mother at the beginning.
She left us when I was about 2 to 3 years old. She divorced my father and never really cared for me. I did not see her again until I started working.
With encouragement from Tzu Chi volunteers, Mrs. Wang took Grandma Gong in 5 years ago when she was abandoned by her son.
The master said we cannot wait to do good and be filial. We told Grandma Gong's daughter, you have the good affinity to care for your mother, and she eventually accepted her mother.
My friends ask me why I am so kind. She never raised you. Why do you take care of her? They ask. As the volunteers say, she's my mother and I should care for her, not abandon her.
To care for Grandma Gong, her son-in-law gave up his dream of running a restaurant after retirement and sleeps in the living room so Grandma Gong can rest in the bedroom.
The master said, be willing to do, be happy to bear. We can't give her a luxurious life, but we have a warm room where she can rest well.
My husband is supportive. She is not his mother, so he complained at the beginning, but then he accepted her.
We tell them, by caring for your mother, you are setting an example for your children. When Mrs. Wang bathes Grandma Gong and cleanses her waist, her granddaughter also helps out.
Tzu Chi volunteers' monthly visits and words of encouragement have supported this family and ensure Grandma Gong will receive much-needed care from her loved ones.
Former magistrate of Kaohsiung's Zhudong Borough, Chen Jingfa, was tending to firefighters who were investigating the mysterious gas leak on the night of July 31st, 2014. Sadly, explosions occurred shortly afterwards and claimed his life. His widow was at first reluctant to succeed him in his post, but having been persuaded by their son, she is now a mother to the whole borough, which has also helped her cope with her grief. For Mother's Day, her son had a special message for her.
I believe that to my mom, my father was her everything. To her, he was the sky, shelter, heavens, the stars, the moon, the sun, basically her whole world.
Whenever I was behind a closed door, I'd start crying. My friends told me to just go ahead and cry all I wanted to, so I could find some release. And really, after I cried, I slept better because I was tired from crying. Things have been really difficult. For the longest time, everything was taken care of by my husband. So after the explosions, I really wanted to just give up. I wanted to give up our store and give up being a borough magistrate. But then my son came into the picture. That boy is really quite witty. He scolded me and said, "Mom, didn't you promise Dad that you would pick up the baton and continue to be a borough magistrate? How can you break your promise to Dad so easily?"
I think that being a borough magistrate has restored the center in her life. And through helping others, my mom began to feel a sense of accomplishment and realized the value of her job. She will now text me and tell me that her job is truly meaningful and that she is committed to doing it well. I think she has really grown attached to it. She enjoys doing her work and helping those in need.
To me, life as an individual does not matter. It's about being united as a family. So I often tell those living in my jurisdiction to cherish everything they have now. My son told me not to wipe my tears with my hands when I cry, as hands are dirty. Speaking of which, whenever I tell him I don't feel well, he tells me to go see a doctor and take a pill. If I say there is no need for medication, he replies, "Which of us is the doctor here?"
Mom, Mother's Day is here. It's been a while since that tragic day. Please look after yourself and attend the health checkup for borough magistrates. Dad used to nag me about getting you set up for a health checkup. Please get one soon. And remember, take a pill if you're not well.
3 years ago, Tzu Chi care recipient Mr. Sun's cancer reoccurred, which left him with limited mobility. To make the situation worse, 2 years ago, his wife passed away from cancer. Since then, he has been caring for his 5 children on his own. Upon learning of the family's situation, Tzu Chi volunteers and team of doctors decided to take the family under their wings.
As soon as arriving at the Hsinchu Jingzi Hall, Mr. Sun's son quickly got out of the cart under his father's wheelchair. Sun and his children had dressed up especially to attend Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony. Sun even brought along the Mother's Day cards drawn by his children.
Daddy, I wish you happy Mother's Day. My son drew this picture of a cake for me.
Sun has limited mobility after his cancer reoccurred 3 years ago. After his wife passed away due to cancer 2 years ago, Sun's second daughter has been shouldering all the household chores. Actually, 4 of the children in this family were adopted, except for the eldest daughter, who's currently studying abroad on a church scholarship. To better care for his children, Sun worked as a morning newspaper delivering man for 11 years.
Nowadays, young people shouldn't be afraid of getting married or having babies. Society will have more kind-hearted people if everyone is willing to have more babies.
Since the beginning of this year, team of Dr. Gan Yuling has been visiting Sun on a regular basis with his colleagues to check on the man's health condition.
As long as we have the time, we want to help Mr. Sun to the best of our ability. We can't alleviate all his pain and suffering, but we hope to make him feel better.
At the end of the Buddha Day ceremony, Sun's children respectfully present the volunteers with handmade cards to express their gratitude and love as well.
In celebration of Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital's 10th anniversary, we meet 2 Tzu Chi volunteers who have dedicated their time to helping maintain the hospital from the beginning.
新店医院也是全台湾第一个公地素食的，把它推动素食。
Retired from the banking industry, volunteer Zhang Rongsong fondly remembers when the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital began construction 10 years ago. Volunteering at the hospital, he finds his retirement to be a path of cultivation as well.
换一个工作就等于休息嘛，我觉得很快乐的。
Changing a job equals taking a break. I'm actually quite happy about volunteering. When I meet up with people or have to deal with tasks, it makes me quite glad to be taking care of things.
去处理这些事情，反而让你心情会很愉快。
Although volunteering at the hospital is quite different than his last job, Zhang is still willing to shoulder any task.
进到慈济来就是任何工作。
Being members of Tzu Chi, we must learn how to do any task. But actually, I'm also glad to do them. In Tzu Chi, I also know where I can help. I'm glad to help the hospital run more smoothly.
能够完成。
先拿几个扣案把它拨到外面去，这个水太深了。
Taking care of the flooded Buddha's altar is someone who many of the staff in the hospital have come to know as Uncle Fu Chuan. This is because he takes care of everyone as though they are members of his own family.
以慈院为家。
Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital is like my own home. So no matter what is asked of me, tasks large and small, I will do them. I'm just doing my share to help.
应该是说尽本分了。
In the past 10 years, Wu and Zhang and other Tzu Chi volunteers in Xindian's Wenshan area have helped with the hospital's various events as if they were their own.
把这个医院呢当作是我们社区道场。
We think of the hospital as a cultivation ground for our community. We do our best to maintain and complete whatever task is asked of us. This is something that all of the Tzu Chi volunteers do, giving without asking for anything in return.
有这样的一个信念，就是付出无所求。
Currently, the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital has many volunteers working behind the scenes to help maintain the grounds and safeguarding the hospital and its staff each step of the way. Early morning, May 11th, Tzu Chi volunteers returned to Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall to make sure to remove any residue the foot placement markers may have left. We will leave you with these images at the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.